In the small, forgotten town of Hollow Brook, there was a legend that everyone knew, but no one dared to talk about openly. It was about the old whispering tree, a gnarled, towering oak that stood alone at the edge of the abandoned forest. Locals said the tree was cursed, that it whispered secrets to those who listened too closely, and that anyone who approached it after sunset never returned the same. 18-year-old Ethan had always been curious about the legend. Unlike most kids who scurried past the tree, Ethan felt drawn to it. His grandmother's stories about the tree haunted him, but his curiosity only grew stronger with each passing day. One late summer evening, just as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ethan decided to investigate. He grabbed his flashlight, slipped on his hoodie, and headed toward the forest. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and dying leaves, and a faint chill ran down his spine as he stepped onto the narrow trail leading to the tree. As he approached, Ethan's heart pounded, partly from fear, partly from excitement. The tree loomed over him, its twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Its bark was rough and dark, covered in strange symbols carved into the wood. Symbols that looked oddly fresh, as if someone had recently etched them. Ethan shined his flashlight on the carvings, trying to decipher them. Some looked like ancient runes, others like strange scribbles. He brushed his fingers over the symbols, feeling a cold shiver run through him. As he did, a faint whisper seemed to drift through the air, unintelligible yet strangely familiar. It was as if the tree was speaking, or trying to. Suddenly, the wind picked up and the branches creaked loudly, casting twisted shadows on the ground. Ethan, an 18-year-old, had his eyes widen. He stepped closer, voice trembling. "Is anyone there?" he asked aloud, expecting no answer. But then he heard it. Soft, whispering words, just beyond his hearing. A voice? No, multiple voices, layered and overlapping. Ethan froze, listening intently. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, as if the tree was trying to tell him something. He felt a strange compulsion to touch the bark again. As his hand brushed against the rough surface, the whispers stopped. Silence fell suddenly, oppressive and heavy. Ethan took a step back, confused and a little scared. Suddenly, the ground beneath him shifted. The earth cracked open like a maw, revealing a dark, swirling vortex. Ethan stumbled back, eyes wide with terror. The whispers returned, louder and clearer now, calling his name. "Ethan, Ethan, come closer." His heart pounded wildly. He wanted to run, but his feet felt rooted to the ground. The vortex pulsed with an unnatural glow, pulling at him, beckoning him closer. His mind raced. Should he run? Should he stay and find out what the tree was trying to tell him? With a surge of courage or madness, Ethan stepped forward, reaching out to touch the swirling darkness. As his fingers brushed the vortex, he felt an icy coldness seep into his bones. The whispers turned into screams, echoing inside his head. Suddenly, the world around him shifted. The tree's branches twisted and writhed like serpents, and Ethan was pulled into the vortex. Everything went black. When he awoke, he was no longer in the forest. The surroundings were strange. Twisted, shadowy figures flickered at the edges of his vision, and the air was thick with a sickly sweetness. Ethan was trapped in a nightmare realm, a place where time and space warped endlessly. He saw faces, those of people who had disappeared over the years, their eyes hollow, mouths open in silent screams. They reached out to him, whispering his name, warning him to leave. "Stay, stay forever," a voice hissed. Ethan realized with dread that the whispers from the tree had been warnings, not invitations. Desperate, he remembered the carvings on the tree. He searched his mind for the symbol's meaning. realizing they were a curse, a spell to trap souls in this nightmare. Summoning his courage, Ethan focused on the idea of escape. He remembered the stories his grandmother told him about the way to break the curse was to face the tree's true nature and accept the truth behind its curse. He looked around and saw a faint glow in the distance, a flickering light that seemed to pulse with life. With all his remaining strength, Ethan moved toward it, fighting against the despair and the whispers that begged him to stay. Finally, he reached the light, a strange, glowing orb emanating from a cracked stone at the heart of the nightmare. He grasped it, feeling warmth flood his freezing limbs. The whispers grew frantic, screaming for him to drop the orb. But Ethan held on. With a blinding flash, the nightmare realm shattered. Ethan found himself back in the forest, the old tree towering silently before him. The vortex was gone, and the whispers had ceased. Ethan stumbled away, trembling, knowing he had escaped the curse, but he also knew the tree's secrets were not gone forever. Sometimes, on quiet nights, he could still hear faint whispers carried by the wind, reminding him that some mysteries are better left untouched. And the old whispering tree? It still stands at the edge of the forest, waiting, its silent branches holding secrets darker than anyone could imagine. Ethan's curiosity drives the story forward, but it nearly traps him forever. The story reminds us that seeking truth is valuable, but not all mysteries are meant to be uncovered without preparation or understanding. Even after escaping, Ethan is never quite the same. The story warns us, experiences shape us,